Broadcasting from the Business RadioX studios, it's time for Business Leaders Radio. Now, here's your host, John Ray.
And hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Business Leaders Radio. I'm John Ray, and folks, this will be a great one, I think. Brett Williams is with us. He's the founder and creator of RPBoxed. Brett, welcome.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to it today.
I've been looking forward to it as well, joining us from Perth. So thank you for that. You're up at an odd time, so I can interview you at during daylight hours. So thank you for that. Let's talk a little bit about you and RPBoxed. How are you serving folks out there?
Well, first and foremost, it's not too late over here, so the time frames are working quite well. It's only 9:40 in the evening, so it works out good. So
awesome.
As far as myself and RPBoxed, so I've got a main marketing agency, which is RP Agency, and in that one, we're a full service marketing agency, and it's something that I created from the ground up. And first and foremost, being a solo entrepreneur myself, doing all of the services for the other individuals, and then creating this client portal and system and automation and team that now is packaged within the RPBoxed product itself. So basically what it does is it allows other individuals to, whether it's mums and dads that are wanting to get online and start an online business, but don't necessarily know where, they might have a bit of an interest in social media or websites or something like that, and they want to start a marketing agency. So they can leverage all of my team, my systems, my automation, and also my knowledge within a private community that they would get access to, and basically start a business overnight using our branding and that side. Or alternatively, if it's a marketing strategist or a business coach, as an example, that are, solo operators themselves and wanting to expand their service offerings to their clients so they can expand their business and ultimately maybe step back a little bit from the income producing activities of always having to be that consultant and that side of things. So there's a couple of ways in which the RPBoxed product itself can help individuals.
Wow, that's quite interesting, and I'm not sure I've ever heard of anything quite like this. Brett, are you a real trailblazer here?
When I started creating it and all of that side of things, because it did get created out of my own requirement, I was looking for a product like this, and I ended up creating the product because I couldn't find the product as such. And so from what I've seen and what are the conversations that I've been having with a number of individuals, they haven't seen it out there either. So I guess the flip side to it as well is the fact that my focus and the RP within the RPBoxed and RP Agency or RP, any of our branding, stands for real people. So it's really about making it cost affordable as well. So from $50 Australian and $1 Australian per month for the franchise-like model, or $97 Australian and $5 Australian for the white labeled version, it's making it a no-brainer for individuals to be able to get access to it as well. So I'm really focused on getting that out there to large number of individuals to be able to help them out and stuff like that. So I like to think that I'm a trailblazer in the whole process. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. And at those prices, the exchange rate doesn't even matter, right? I mean, so that's awesome. That's terrific. So I want to back up just a minute though, and let's introduce folks to you a little more in your entrepreneurial journey. I mean, talk about, I guess, why marketing and branding really lights your fire, and how you get excited about helping other customers.
Well, I guess it starts out before it all came about, and before I even knew it was something that was an interest of mine. If I'm completely straight, I used to be in the corporate world. I used to be a draftsman in the mining industry here in Perth, West Australia. I used to design chutes, tanks, conveyors for mining process plants. And in 2012, I ended up being one of the unfortunate few here that ended up losing their jobs as a result of the recession when it eventually hit Australia. And so I turned to the online world to go, okay, there's no such thing as job security. I've got to create it myself. So how do I do that? And for me, it started about looking at different online businesses, from affiliate marketing, network marketing, all of these things. And it ended up evolving into a space of a company that I was with at the time. It was an affiliate marketing company that ended up getting taken down by the FTC for a few things that they were doing not quite correct. But I saw in that moment that if I was to bring somebody into that business, I actually knew I needed to know, how to actually build websites, build sales funnels, do email campaigns, do all of the content creation, all of the paid marketing, and all of these different things, because their product was not actually providing the information in which they were meant to be providing or said that they were going to provide. And so for me, it really came out of necessity. And then it became an obsession. And then it became an enjoyable thing, because all of a sudden now it became a secondary habit in some regards to be able to create the websites and all of these things. And then obviously building a team so I can step out of the doing part of it so much. But so for me, I guess coming back to that, if you think of anything in business, it's always going to lean back onto marketing, branding, the different, I guess, fundamental services in which we offer, the websites, the content creation, the paid marketing, and all of these things, no matter what business it is. And sure, it might not need a fully fledged, high level website, but it's at least going to need something that's going to tell customers and clients who you are and what you do. Maybe that's even on Instagram, but even still, then you're going to be having to create the branding and understanding how to be able to position that content to be able to attract the individuals that you're wanting to attract to, and all of these different fundamental things. So at the end of the day, even if you're wanting to run a cake making business or something like that, marketing, branding is always going to be required. And so for me, the marketing and branding is really the bridge to be able to help other individuals to get their passion out there. And ultimately, it comes back to helping other individuals to create financial stability in their lives and in their future. Because my decision back then was, if there's no such thing as job security, what skills do I need to be able to create financial stability within my life? And to me, it always came back to sales and marketing, and the online space being a big platform for that.
So, Brett, let's talk about RP Agency for just a second, and talk about maybe we can start by the types of clients that you work with, and the experience, and therefore the experience from that you bring to RPBoxed.
Absolutely. So RP Agency is being created, would have been just after 2012. It was probably more like 2013, 2014. So it's really been in the trenches of the whole, that time frame, and all of my learnings and my experience and my failures and all of that side of things. So within RP Agency, the main clientele that we work with happens to be coaches. And that was partly because I had a coaching business that I've just put on the side for a little bit. So it's all around course creation and stuff like that, and course portals, and all of this side of things that comes into that coaching realm, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But some of our clientele has also been in the construction industry, because of my background in the engineering world and that side of things, and also some in e-commerce and in cosmetics and stuff like that, because a business partner of mine in here also has experience within that. So being able to service clients within those areas as well. So it's kind of a bit of a diverse one. We don't technically have an individual niche that we work with. However, it is kind of mainly focused around the coaches and consultants, but there's a few others that come in there as well.
So before we dive more deeply into RPBoxed, you bring up coaches and consultants. Let's talk about maybe the biggest one or two marketing branding mistakes that you see coaches and consultants make.
Telling the how in what it is that they do. So one of the things that I come back to, so you tell the what and the why, and you sell the how. So, and look, I was guilty of this in the early days and this is kind of a bit of a learned mistake on my part, and growing through that part as well, is at the end of the day, it's the how is what your clients pay you for. So cool. There might be, mindset or something like that, talking about what is a positive mindset. Let's just go with that one as a random example. Why is a positive mindset important? How does it benefit your life? And instead of going into the 5 things that you might have that help somebody to be able to create a positive mindset or stay in a positive mindset, the how is the thing that person is going to be paying you for, to be able to have that support from the coaching staff. So what I've seen within the coaching industry, and this is a great thing, but at the same time, it's great in some ways. It's great that most coaches, or if not all coaches, get into the industry because generally they've gone through something themselves and now want to help somebody else who's going through something similar. So there's very much a I want to help you mentality within there. But the problem is that doesn't help their business and doesn't help them creating a business or creating cash flow. So from that side of things, it is really about coming back to understanding, if you pull out the how part and make sure that that's the thing that you're selling, that at the end of the day, it doesn't make you a bad person for doing so, because there is that business hat that you've also got to put on, that making sure that you are actually bringing people in. And it helps to be able to filter out the time wasters who might be just leeching on to somebody trying to get free coaching and that side of things as well, because you can use it as a bit of a, I guess, a gateway to be able to filter a few out. So that's one of the biggest things that I've seen within the coaching space.
Wow. You mentioned something there that I think is vital, because I've seen this as well. Coaches, consultants that are new to their practice, maybe they've come out of corporate or whatever, and they're so anxious to build their business, they do let those freeloaders, I guess you might call them, I'm trying to be nice, spend way too much time with them, right? And they need a better filtering system for them.
100%. Absolutely. And there's a few different ways that you could go about that one. But one of the big ones is definitely that call that you book in, or the conversation that you're having before, not before, but rather once they've shown any sort of interest in your information and the stuff that you're putting out there, then cool, having a couple of qualifying questions there just to find out where that person's at. And also not trying to work with everybody. And again, I guess it's kind of like another little trick in there as well, that, I'm a coach, I'm here to help everyone. It's, well, yes, you probably could, but not everybody's going to resonate with you, and just make sure that you find those ones that are going to be great clients. Because I'm sure those who are listening that are in the business world, we've all taken on a client that we knew that we shouldn't have taken on. But at the end of the day, when we've gone through that process with that client, it's been the worst experience that we've had, and we wish we never said yes, and their money was never enough anyway. So from that side of things, it's really about coming back to having a couple of filtering questions to even ask that person straight, where are you at on your journey right now? If you had an option that was going to be around X number of dollars that was going to give you this, this, and this, would you be interested in having a look at that? And if they start balking at the price, well, then just say, look, keep watching my information and stuff like that type sort of scenario, very politely, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Brett Williams is with us, folks. He's the founder and creator of RPBoxed, bringing back some bad memories for me, maybe you too. In terms of thank you for that, Brett. I'm curious about the light bulb moment for you. You're going along there with RP Agency, and what was the light bulb moment that said that there's a business opportunity with what turned out to be RPBoxed?
So for me, I guess, again, as I said at the start, John, was really about the custom client portal that I created. It's essentially when somebody purchases any of our services, and this is through the agency, this is through Box, that all works in basically the same way. If somebody was to purchase, say, a website, then they get instant access into the client portal and have access to the information or the forms that we need, or my team needs, to be able to actually create their service, whether that is a website, whether it's video editing, whether that's content creation, whatever that service actually is. And so for me, I created it initially because, again, being a solo entrepreneur at the start, you're very time poor anyway, and you're always trying to bounce backwards and forwards to get information and, notify the clients. They're always bugging you. So within this client portal and in this automated system, I've created a lot of SMS and email notifications to let the client know when their service is at different stages. So making sure that the client is always kept up to date. They know, and then it doesn't stop me from having to, continue on with my day and focus on either running the team or doing the service or whatever it might be that is actually required from myself. And so for me, it was really around one, seeing it, getting the product to where I'm happy with it, where I've wanted it to be. And then just knowing at the end of the day on my personal journey, the impact that I could have on many other people's lives. And the reality is I'm focused on building this product to have 1 million users one day, probably in a 5-year time frame is what I'm targeting towards, to have 1 million users on the platform itself. And that's a combination of the franchise arm and also the white label thing. And it really does come back to my personal journey through the affiliate marketing and network marketing and losing a lot of money and basically feeling like I was getting taken advantage of from those different organizations and stuff like that. And so that's why I've created a really the low barrier of entry. They also get access into the private community where there'll be training, there'll be support, there'll be so many different things. And I guess in some regards, it's coming back to that whole philosophy behind the business and the RP is the real people and, wanting to be able to help and wanting to be able to give back. And at the end of the day, I guess there's a little bit of a feel-good thing for myself in there as well, because I know that I've spent and sacrificed so much time and energy and holidays or anything like that over the last 5-6 years, and to know that I can actually put that to good use to be able to help somebody else to, be able to put another couple $100 on the, in their bank account in a month, or, a couple $1,000 or something like that, and give them skills that are going to be able to create financial stability and also like independence as well, and be able to give them the life that they maybe otherwise haven't had. So being able to like travel, like I said beforehand, I used to live in Bali for a couple of years, and in all honesty, I'd still be there if COVID never happened. And so from that side of things, if I can really do that and see that look on those individuals' faces, that once they've gone through this and how this has transformed their lives, that's realistically what I'm going for. That's why RPBoxed exists. And so I also know very confidently in myself the value and the actual complexity of the product that I've created as well. And so from that side of things, again, it just allows me to be able to package it in another way and allow other people to benefit from the time that I've slaved away to create it. So it's, multifaceted, I guess you could say.
Let's talk about, Brett, if we can, the specifics of what's offered through RPBoxed. So you open up that figurative box, pardon the pun, and what comes out? So
you've got access to all of our services, and I won't be able to name them all because I always miss a few, but it's all of our different website services. We've got 4 different websites that we have. So a basic website, a full website with a course, e-commerce websites, both a basic and advanced. We've also got course portals themselves, all of our social media management services as far as the content creation, all of our paid marketing services such as Facebook ads, Google ads, LinkedIn ads, and also SEO, which includes blog writing in there as well. Blog writing as itself. We've got all of the video editing. There's probably a few in there that I'm missing as well, but from that side of things, it's all of our services, and the actual portal itself is going to be going through in the next sort of 6 to 12 months a full rebuild from a custom service perspective, and at which point there's going to be a number of other services that are going to be added in there as well, as far as bookkeeping and a few others in there as well, coding and app development. So basically any service that's in there, the individuals themselves have the ability to be able to sell straight out the gate, and generating a 20% commission on those products themselves for that little $50 Australian or $1 a month, which is the franchise arm, or that's 97 Australian and $5 a month. But they don't just get that portal and off you go. They also get training and they get access into the private community groups as well. They are both separate only because the conversations are slightly different, whether it's a franchise like individual that's come on board, or a white label agent, because they're generally in the industry themselves. So they get access to that. They'll get access to future events as well from an online perspective, and hopefully one day also in-person ones and that side of things as well. So they get access to a lot. So it's very much a business in a box for a very little fee.
And just to be clear, the fee you're paying RPBoxed is for access to the system, as it were, and and you're buying services a la carte on that platform.
Correct. So they can use it in two different ways. So yes, it's a licensing fee should you wish, the $50 and the $1 a month. It's a licensing fee to the platform that I've created, and the access from that platform gives to the team and the development of it. So they don't need to know how to build a website or anything like that. There is training and support how to be able to talk about it. My team does it all and delivers it on their behalf, and all of the branding for them and stuff like that. They also, for themselves, no matter which version it is, have a 20% discount code, which if they are going to be using the marketing for themselves, they can use that discount code. And essentially what it does, it removes their commission element, but gives it to them for a cost price. And of course, they have the ability to be able to sell all those services to friends or to business colleagues, or, the person that they met down the street at the cafe that said that they were starting a new online business and happened to need a website and something like that. So from that side of things, they're able to communicate it and like, well, look, my team can help you, and this is how, and I'll show them that process.
Got it. And I guess a couple different questions about the potential users for RPBoxed. Does it make sense for someone that's a do-it-yourselfer? I mean, in other words, I've got a company, I need a digital presence. I'm not real comfortable with who I'm seeing out there. I'd really like, and maybe I've got someone internally that can handle a lot of this work. Is this a good option for me?
It can be, yes. And the reason why I say that it can, I emphasize that word specifically, is because it depends on, well, one, if you're somebody who's needing to have control over the whole process and you're not wanting to let it go, then look, maybe it's not quite the right fit. But the reason why I say it can be is the fact that you can also be the person who's doing the final review. So any piece of content goes through multiple stages. It goes through an internal review, which is myself and my management team, and then it will go to the client review as that stage. So from that point of view, you still get the end say of going, yes, I like this piece of content, or yes, I like this, or no, I don't like this, and sending it back to the team to get changed. So ultimately, you still have control over it. Where it can be beneficial is if you do have an internal person who may from time to time get a little bit overwhelmed with the workload or something like that, just simply because the workload increases around certain timeframes, or maybe occasionally there's a few videos that are required or something like that, then yes, being able to have access to that, the cost pricing for their services can definitely be a beneficial thing. And at the end of the day, the monthly licensing fee is not going to break the bank either. So it can be, however, that caveat is you've got to be somebody who is willing to allow somebody else to do the work. I work very closely with my team to be able to make sure that we get the same tone and pronunciation and the language and all of that correct when creating somebody else's content. At the end of the day, you get to choose, if you approve it or not. So that's kind of where that caveat sits.
Right. Got it. And you mentioned that RPBoxed could be maybe a line extension for coaches, consultants. Talk about why a coach or a consultant would want to do that, and maybe give us a successful case on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it kind of goes back to some of the philosophy as to why I created RPBoxed to be a full service marketing agency. There's two kind of business principles. One is the fact that it's easier to sell a client another product than it is to sell a new client a new product. And two, at the end of the day, there's complementary services that one client might want, so you can be able to support them in multiple different ways to be able to increase the ROI. So there's that kind of philosophy, which I'll expand in a second. But the other part in there as well is coaches and I guess marketing strategists or consultants and that side of things can sometimes run the risk of, when they outsource to somebody externally, say a website developer or a social media management or paid marketing or whatever it is, they're all of a sudden introducing their client to somebody else who has a different viewpoint on how the thing should be done. So the coach or the consultant or the marketing strategist, in some regards, is losing the, I guess, quote unquote, control over their client's journey and all of the work that they've done up to that point to be able to create the brand and identity and the all of this side of things. So from that point, with being able to leverage RPBoxed, it means that that person is still, well, the marketing strategist or the business coach is still that client's sole point of contact. They're not having to go to somewhere else that, for the websites or any of the other services, because when they do that, there's a chance that that person may end up, whilst they might have a good agreement with the marketing strategist or the business coach, they might say something that may end up having that client think, oh, maybe this person's not the right person for me. And they may end up losing their client at the end of the day. Or it becomes just more of a challenge to be able to get their client back on board on the game plan that they already agreed on and stuff like that. So from that side of things, it really just helps them to be able to support their clients in a more of a holistic way, and in a way that's going to be less confusing to their client, because at the end of the point, they are their main point of contact and not anybody else. The other part is, at the end of the day, they can grow their business and be able to generate a little bit of extra cash flow, or a lot more cash flow, depending on how much they leverage the portal into their business. So then maybe they can have an extra holiday, a year or something like that, to be able to take a little bit more time out. So, yeah.
I love it. So, Brett, let's maybe, if you would, and if it's appropriate, I'd love it if you maybe could share a success story. Someone that's used the RPBoxed platform to grow, build, enhance their business.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So there's a couple of different ways that we are working with individuals. So I'll talk about one of the marketing strategists that we've got on board recently, and that side of things. I'll leave names out of it just for purely from a privacy perspective and stuff like that. But again, there's somebody who you already hear some of the stuff that I've been saying up until now. They're a marketing strategist based in New Zealand. And from that side of things, they do a lot of work with other individuals, mainly governments and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, they've been doing more the strategy side of things, but they haven't been able to actually doing the creation of it, because that's just not what their passion is. They're happy to sit down and actually go through all of the strategy and put it together and have somebody else do all of the other stuff. Now, up until this point, they didn't have anybody else that they really worked with from a social media management perspective, simply because there was something that they just hadn't got around to actually organizing, because they were in a bit of overwhelm to start off with, and thinking about having to hire people and then train them and all of that side of things. And when I spoke to them about RPBoxed and they came on board, we've been able to obviously now give them all of that service and things like that literally overnight. So from that point of view, it's seamlessly plugged into their business, and they're able to now have that service for their clients. Their clients don't ultimately know that we are doing it in the back end, because they've come on board from the white label perspective. So all of the SMS notifications that go out to their client is coming from their branding. It's also coming from it's all coming from their branding and linking them back to their portal and stuff like that. So it's now just completely transformed her business to be able to offer all of the different services and be able to have her clients, stick around a lot more. And it's exactly what I was just saying before. So from that side of things. So yeah, that's one. And I'm going to promise you it's one of many that's coming up in the near future. That's
awesome. Brett Williams, folks, of RPBoxed. He's the founder and creator of RPBoxed. Brett, this has been great. And I can't imagine at this point that there aren't some folks that wouldn't like to be in touch and learn more. So let's give them directions on how to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I've appreciated my time here, John. It's been fun. And I know for a fact that we could definitely continue on for a lot longer in that side of things. So I do appreciate that.
We sure could. Thank you.
So when it comes to, if somebody was to go to rpboxed.co, they're going to see what looks like essentially a marketing agency. And that is essentially what it is. But if they're interested in the franchise or the white label service, then they would need to go to agent.rpboxed.co. Otherwise, you'll be able to find it down in the menu down the very bottom, and it will link you over to the actual agent website where you could sign up potentially or get some more information about the white label and also the franchise-like model and that side of things there for yourself and that side. So that's the main places to go.
Terrific. Brett Williams, folks, founder and creator of RPBoxed. Brett, this has been fun and very informative. So thanks for coming on.
Most welcome. It's been a pleasure, John.
Thank you so much. Hey, folks, just a quick reminder, Business Leaders Radio is on all the major podcast apps, and we are, of course, broadcasting through the Business RadioX network. We love it if you've heard something here that appeals to you, or you might think resonates with someone else. Share the show, because that's how we generate what we're looking for out of the show, which is to promote our great guests like Brett, who do great work, and their work deserves to be found and celebrated. So if you could help us in that regard, we greatly appreciate it. So for my guest, Brett Williams, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on Business Leaders Radio.